Good afternoon. You are tuned into Ability Matters, a program that covers matters to do with abilities, disabilities, and everything in between. Ability Matters is one of the longest-running disability-related programs in the whole wide world. Starting its headway on air in 2007, you can now listen to podcasts of previous Ability Matters programs on YouTube and Spotify. Just search for Ability Matters. Ability Matters is brought to you by My Home Living Care, an NDIS-registered disability.
Yes, of course. This is Ability Matters. I'm your host, Tony Scott-Emilio, and with me as per usual is my co-host Beck, but she's not in the station at the moment. And we have a bit of, it's okay. I'm just going to jump straight into some tunes now. I've got here lined up Cher, before she was with the Days of Sonny and Cher. This is Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves from 1971. Lovely.
Vox FM.
And lay their money down.
Yes, that was just Cher, Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves from 1973. We'll get straight into the interview, shall we?
If you would like that to happen, Tony.
Go for it.
Hi. So today
This is my co-host Beck. How are you, Beck? From
Good,
Flagstaff,
how are you?
sorry. Yeah.
You're all right. How are you going, Tony?
Going well.
That's good.
And who we have with us today?
We have Cassandra with us today. She hasn't been with us for a while, but we always love to have a chat with Cassandra. Would you be able to remind us of your condition? As it's been a little while since we've had you on.
I have a difference called neurodiversity, and it's a pretty exciting combo of ADHD, autism spectrum, and due to a car accident, I also have dyscalculia, which means numbers appear like hieroglyphics, really, on an Egyptian temple. So they scramble, they rearrange, and it creates some interesting mishaps.
I bet. I'm glad you had that reference because I was thinking, like Egyptian. First thing that popped into my head.
So, I'm familiar with maybe the term dyslexia. Is that what you mean as well?
It's very similar, but it's strictly with numbers.
Right. So it doesn't matter for words. You still see words.
Words are perfect.
Normal?
In
Cool.
fact, I'm the word woman. Yeah.
Wonderful. So if I have trouble with a crossword, I come see you, not Google.
Oh, absolutely. And
Wonderful.
ChatGPT, don't ask them, just ask me.
Oh, I'm not a fan of GPT, but
I don't know. I know some people they think it's quicker and easier, but then
Yeah.
I end up having to look over it. So
constantly
I'm like,
correct themselves. Yes.
That's taking twice the time.
I think thinking about a question is like gym for the mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Keep on exercising. It gets better.
Keep making that brain think.
Yes.
Yes, so you have ADHD, which, would you like to say what the long word is for that? Or?
No. that's the autism side of me being very blunt.
Attention deficit disorder or hyperactivity, something like
and you can
attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
It took me a while to find in my head, but yeah, there we go.
Some listeners might not know what that means.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad you explained it, Tony.
Oh.
Yeah. And then on the spectrum of autism as well.
Yes, so that's a very broad spectrum, hence the word spectrum. So I have low support needs, but it does give me a lot of sensory issues, and parties are not my favourite thing.
Well, yeah, I know it would be overstimulation and loud music and flashing lights and all that.
Oh, no, I actually
jazz.
like that.
I know you like that.
I don't have to talk to anyone there. No, I think something that's really important for people to understand is that I'm I appear really friendly, but I am, but I like a lot of time on my own. And I've had a challenge this year. My challenge has been when people ask me to do something, I say yes, because my default is no, because I like a lot of warning. And I realise that I'm actually missing out on a lot of fun that way.
You mean warning, like to make sure that you're prepared for the situation, you can give 100%?
Yeah, absolutely prepared. Yeah, I'd like a few days warning. But I have started saying yes to almost everything. And I am actually enjoying it because I thought what's the worst thing that can happen is I'll enjoy myself, which is a good thing, or I can actually just leave this. I mean, no one's stopping me. You have autonomy. If you're in a situation that you don't like, you can leave it. So I'd rather find out if it was going to be fun, and I'm finding that it is, but it was a bit of a hurdle to overcome.
So I suppose that's a bit of a thing that other people with neurodiversity could maybe think of. it doesn't have to be a set guideline, time frame, things like that. You can maybe try little things just offhand and see how you go with that.
Yeah, you can try. I mean, some people never want to try. Like my son, he will not do it. And it takes time. So it was just a resolution that I made for myself.
Yeah.
And I like a challenge. And it was a great challenge to overcome because already my life's been enriched because of it. I've joined lots of groups. I've met different people. I'm on fire. I love writing. So I've joined some writing groups and I'm just passionate about new experiences. But before, because I needed so much forewarning, I was actually missing out on those new experiences I wanted. And it's just about, I think it's about being courage, but also the brain is so flexible for everyone. And it was just about deciding, I can do this.
I know.
But I totally appreciate people who can't.
So you're saying it's better to just be confident enough to embrace life.
Absolutely. Or
Yes.
or just decide. One of the things I decided was if it goes wrong,
It goes wrong.
like what's so
Only
bad
human.
about that? And also if you go up and talk to strangers, or you ask to a party and there's going to be people there that you don't know, the thing about that is all that means is you met people that you didn't know. All it meant was you didn't have the most fun that you could have, but you can still go home. I used to sort of make it much bigger than it was, as if it was a disaster.
Yeah.
And
Explode.
it's not. It's just
You mean like explode situations for more than they actually were?
yeah. So it's just. I think every person with neurodiversity knows their limits, but I think our time frame is longer. So I meet a lot of parents and they go, wow, you can do this and you can do that, because I used to do a lot of talks for aspect to parents in particular. And like the timeline for development is just longer. So because there's a few more hurdles. So imagine if you're born, there's no hurdles on your path, you're neurotypical and you can just keep walking in a straight line. If you've got neurodiversity, you're like, here's a ditch, I've got to climb a fence, I've fallen over. it's more like that.
Over dramatise, yes?
Yeah, but life is quite dramatic, isn't it? Though, like just being alive is like, oh wow, I'm here.
Well, yes, I think that we always think we're on the straight road. That's what we're told at school, but it's not a straight road. There could be speed bumps, big hills.
Even when I go to schools,
anything in the way that, you got to get over that before you get to the next bit.
I always tell children that it's a bit like being born in a pinball machine, and that's like whether you're neurodiverse or neurotypical. And, you're told that you can go from A to B to C, but it doesn't actually work like that, because if you're in a pinball machine, ping, your letters there.
They're not always in line with each other. Sometimes you've got to go diagonal or...
Well, just to give ourselves a bit of a break here now, and I'm just going to break things up a bit now. We've got some 10cc with Rubber Bullets from 1973, self-titled album, 10cc. You're listening to Ability Matters on 106.9 Vox. Now let's just move on to the interview, shall we? Go for it, ladies.
No worries, thanks. Okay, so keen to hear about your recent work as a curator and what being a curator is like, because that sounds really interesting. How does that work?
It's actually really stressful and really hard. So the reason I got into hiring the council space, the Project Contemporary Art Space in Wollongong, was because I do suspect that a lot of artists are neurodiverse, but one of the issues that some artists can face is that promoting themselves or being part of the inner circle that gets you invited into exhibitions. So I thought I would invite myself.
Magic.
That sounds great.
And when you get to curate, you're in charge of the advertising of it, of how the art is hung on the wall and who's part of the exhibition. And it's just a personal challenge I've given myself to sort of overcome that instead of just hiding behind my front door and painting, to actually get into it like a bigger space. And I like being able to communicate with like minds, and I particularly like exploring art because I think AI is in danger of taking that away, and we're sort of like mark makers and storytellers. I mean, from the dawn of time when we started painting in caves, it seems more important. And I also use it to bring awareness for neurodiversity, because I think people don't understand it properly, but when they see art and they see the person behind it, and it gives them a richer, more fulfilling experience, that here's a person who isn't just a diagnosis, that they have the potential to create and actually give something to the world.
Yeah, because I have a feeling that your art would probably be even that little bit more exciting and a little bit more out there than most people.
A touch of left field, perhaps?
It is very exciting. I lean heavily on mythology, myths and legends and fairy tales, because I love that idea that for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, these stories have been passed down through generations and become bigger. It's almost like a tapestry, like everyone's adding their own stitch and their own colour to it. And when I put my art up, one of the things I like to do is stand there and tell people, I ask them what they can see first, and then I tell them the background. And I'm really surprised at how the stories are being lost. And so I feel this excitement that I'm bringing the stories back.
Now, I feel like that's one of those questions that has no wrong answer, is there? What they can see first.
No, there's no wrong answer.
They're my favourite kind of questions.
But people get really excited when I actually tell them, like,
what
inspired me.
Yes.
And then they walk away inspired, and if I'm lucky, they want the painting.
Wonderful.
Well, that's like a thing that I seen not long ago where it said, what can you see? And it had two, it was good and evil, but in the one word, one up one way and one the other way. And I thought, hang on a minute, what if you can see both?
Yeah. Well,
What does that mean?
I like painting eyes, so I'm a master of eye painting, I think, because people are always saying, oh, that person's looking at me, like in my artwork. And one of the reasons I love the eyes is because there is this sort of
hypnotic effect.
Yeah, but there's also this myth that people on the spectrum won't look you in the eye, and it's not actually true. They just choose. And they choose who to look at, and no one's going to meet the gaze of someone who's already prejudged them or put them in a box or put them in a label. And so I like using the eyes in my artwork to say, look at me, see the person. Yeah, see the person behind them.
Seeing eye to eye, yeah?
Yeah, seeing eye to eye, yeah.
Yes.
Rightio, here we go now. Let's jump straight back into it. I'm going to play for you now classic Australian music now. Got some Cold Chisel with Bow River from the 1982 album, Circus Animals.
Listen loud to the wind, babe. Listen.
Okay, yes, that was just Cold Chisel. Sorry, the song disappeared on me. Yeah, Cold Chisel.
Bow River.
Bow River, that's right, yeah. My short-term memory's not the best, and when it disappears on this thing, yeah.
One of the greats.
Yeah, of course, one of the greats. Yes, and we were discussing earlier off air the difference between Ian Moss singing and Jimmy Barnes singing. There's obviously different styles.
There's a bit of a tone difference there, I think. That's the best way I can put it. I'm not screaming when I'm listening to Ian Moss.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so where are we up to in the interview?
I'm
yourself
talking to
and Cassandra.
Yes, so I'm interested to know what you like to do, Cassandra, out of the art space. What other things do you like to do? Because you're involved in a lot.
The first role I have is actually as a carer for one of my sons. So I have, they're both neurodiverse, and one is he's in university getting degree after degree after degree in social work,
well.
anthropology and psychology, but my other son needs a bit more support. And then outside of that, I do diversity training for council, which I absolutely love, because it isn't just about being paid for it. I can literally see people's minds changing in front of me and opening up and embracing difference, because I'm very keen on the idea that disability is something people experience because other people remove their abilities. So
Very well said. I like it.
broadening people's minds to understanding that ability might be different, but it's like a doorway into a whole nother experience of value. So I love doing that, and then I love being a living book because I go around to schools, and I love the feedback that I get, which is because one of my favourites recently was so many students wrote, Cassandra has given me the idea that I can have fun as an adult.
So true. We lose that ability as we get older,
Yeah,
don't
except
we?
for me, I have fun all the time. The other thing I love is I'm a passionate writer, and I'm always writing, but I've always been a bit of a secret writer. And so over the years, people have said, write a book, write a book, write a book, and I've ignored them all. But finally, I thought, yep, you know what? And I got out of bed one morning and I ran to the computer and I started typing away with 2 fingers, one on either side.
That's all right. We'll get there.
And I'm, in my happy space now that I'm actually focusing all that energy. And the other thing I like doing is promoting awareness of nature and the spiritual world. So I'm a very strong believer that we're all connected, from the tree to the bird to the person, and that the earth, we should treat her more like a mother.
You mean all life is interconnected?
Yeah, all life is interconnected, and we're on this beautiful, amazing living planet, and we need to treat her like she's our home, and also, our mother, because we can't do without either of those things. Everyone needs a mother to be born, and everyone needs a home. So if we just thought of the earth more that way, I think we'd all be better off. So, and dancing. I dance badly, I dance wildly, but I will do it. If there's music, I will dance to it. And if there's no music, I'll make my own. So that's how I hang out the washing.
I'm just imagining what you might dance like in my head. I can just see a lady, girl, whatever, just shaking their hands, headbanging sort of thing along with it.
No, I'm not headbanging. I'm a bit more...
No, I don't mean headbanging. I mean like just shaking their hands and just going...
Even if I dust, I will dance. If I have to have a vacuum, I'm dancing. Dancing makes everything better.
Go with the flow, lovely.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Okay, it's currently 29, well, I'm going to say 12:30, yes. So let's just get on to... this is still... Yes, it's still Tony hosting the show, hosting Ability Matters, with Beck from Flagstaff on the other side of the desk, with Cassandra.
Yeah.
With the two. Now I'm just going to jump into some music now. I'm a little bit out of difference now. Todd Rundgren with Can We Still Be Friends from 1978 album, Hermit of Mink Hollow.
We can't play this game anymore.
Playing the biggest music selection in the Illawarra. Your community station, 106.9 Vox FM.
Radio. Now, that person who's played that song then, Todd Rundgren, Can We Still Be Friends? I got a little bit of trivia about him. He was actually part of the group Meatloaf back in the day, and he's the one who actually created the Bat Out of Hell sound using his guitar and whammy bar on the guitar in one single take. Wow. Now, anyone who's a guitarist out there, you will understand just how incredibly wow that is. Like, you can't get...
that would be? How difficult that would be to do that in one go?
Well,
I don't know.
Just not so much doing it in one go, but more come up with the sound of a car using the whammy bar on a guitar. That's wow. Like back in...
Wouldn't surprise me if he was neurodiverse.
He may well be.
Potentially, yes. I was just thinking outside of the square.
Yeah.
Good work.
That's the best place to be, outside the box.
Of course. Anyway, We're going to go back to it? We've got more things
Yes,
to
we
discuss?
have. So I'm
Yes, girls?
interested to know, Cassandra, when did you first realise that you might have been a little bit different than everyone else?
I realised I was different pretty much as soon as I went to school, because I had some unusual behaviours. The first one I had was I would not use anyone else's toilet paper. I had to bring my own in a beautiful embroidered bag.
Oh, that's exciting.
And I had to carry it everywhere, and there were just other little signs. The fact that I would purr if I really liked someone, and I'd bark if I didn't.
You mean like
A cat or a
a cat or a dog?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Animal. Let's play,
And
Also, like your, I won't say this, but innuendo sort of thing, like that sort of thing. No? I don't know.
I think that was puberty.
Oh.
When I was really little, it was
When you
pretty
got that
simple. I
noise
was like,
going, yeah.
if I liked you, and grr if I didn't, and bark. But so, and it's surprisingly common amongst children who are neurodiverse. I also went to bed with a hat and a scarf from age 2 because
Wow.
they were given to me as a gift, and I wasn't taking them off. They were mine, and
You were
Ownership.
touching
yeah,
them.
I slept with a biology book instead of a teddy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I've still got it. I had it when I was 2, and it was my absolute favourite. Forget Goldilocks and Three Bears. I was like heavily into biology. So, and I started to realise I had a few similarities with my grandfather, who knew the name of every star, and
Wow.
and he would tell me. And one of the things he said to me was, I brought my guitar, but no one came to the party. And when I said, what does that mean? And he said, I like being on my own, but I don't like being lonely. And it stuck with me because I understood what he meant, and how, and a lot of people do think that about neurodiverse people, that we don't want friends, or that we want to be on our own. And it's not that. I think we like more of our own time.
And that self-reflection time.
But we want that connection. And so as the years went by at school, all sorts of things happened. Like the teacher would say things like, am I boring you, Cassandra? And I'd go, yes, you are. And other kids would be like, what the? Like, and things like that went on. So one day...
At least you're on it.
a cat got killed crossing the road, and everyone cried outside school. But as I finished crying quite quickly because I got very excited to see the bones inside. So I was famous for doing a Wednesday Addams, going out onto the highway and putting it in my suitcase with my lunch, and I forgot. So when I got home and my mum unpacked my bag, she was a bit disturbed. And so things continued a lot, like that. And I thought, why am I, what's going on? Why are people saying you're a weirdo? And when I got older, I used to say, hey, like when you order a sandwich and you say no mayo, I was like, okay,
Specify.
I'll accept the weird, but take the O off the end.
Yeah.
I'll claim the weird, and I'll add wonderful to it.
Yeah.
And let's get rid of the O, because out of an unusual mind comes unusual thoughts that should be appreciated, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
So even though when I look back at my school years and I think, wow, I stood out, now I think, yeah, I'm owning that. That's standing out. I'm enjoying it because my life is more interesting because of it.
More enriched, yeah. You get
Yeah.
to see things through a different lens, I suppose.
Yeah,
than
and then
most
when I was
people.
older, like much older, and I was at that stage where guys would ask me out and they'd say, do you want to come back to my house for coffee? And I used to get there and there'd be no coffee or tea. I'd be like, you offered me a hot beverage. And I still laugh about this. It was one guy actually said, I've got some instant noodles. What if I add hot water to that? And I think he might have been neurodiverse as well. It took me about 7 years to work out.
It was a bit
that
of a spoiler
coffee
alert,
didn't
wasn't
mean
it?
Coffee.
Yeah.
I took
Yeah.
things a bit literally.
Well,
yeah.
no, I suppose, well, if that's what's said.
Yeah.
I get that. I'm like, hey, you said so and so. That's not what's happening.
So we've got onto an important point now because I used to be very upfront with my feelings. If I thought something, I absolutely said it.
Just let it out.
So if someone would say, I really like you, and I didn't, I'd go, no, it's not mutual.
Not today,
Yeah,
sorry.
or if there was an activity, or if somebody had a dress on and they'd go, what do you think? Does this look nice? I'd go, no, that is awful. Or does my bum look big? Yes, it does.
Of course it does.
And it took me a very long time
to filter.
to realise, but to realise that whoever said, this will blow your brain, honesty is the best policy, that's actually a lie in itself, because it isn't. Because a lot of people do not. They do not want the truth, even when they're asking for it.
They don't react.
When they say, do I look good in this, they don't want your honest opinion. They want you to say.
They may be using a deeper psychological thing. They want to hear the lies to keep the dream going, the illusion.
That's it. A lot of people ask you a question and they don't actually want the honest answer. Like the teacher who said, am I boring you? That was a warning. She didn't want me to tell her that she was actually incredibly boring.
I probably would have done the same thing. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Do you think you can... I can still remember this teacher saying, do you think you could give a better lesson? And I was like, absolutely.
Of course.
She was like, right out the front. And then I started giving one and everyone was enjoying themselves. And then she was like, sit back down.
Yep.
I was very disappointed.
I remember that line
Backfired
too.
on her.
Yeah.
Whenever I was in, like, say, primary school or high school even,
Yeah.
and am I boring you back there? I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm not listening.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very valid point.
Anyway, let's get to some music right now. I got next up, Simply Red, Something Got Me Started from the 1996 album Stars. Lovely tune.
I love you.
Radio, we're getting straight back into it now between Beck and Cassandra.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. So my last question for you, Cassandra, is a little bit about sharing your experiences with other people. Is there something that you picked up over the years that you found would be maybe beneficial to some of our listeners out there and go through the same kind of thing?
Yeah, I think the three most important things are that because with neurodiversity, honesty and facts are sort of like a default position, that when someone with neurodiversity appears rude, it's not their intention, and it's more likely that they're just stating a fact.
Yeah.
And that can be misinterpreted a lot. And the second thing is the timeline. So the timeline of ability varies hugely, and I think in our society where technology has sort of made people want instant answers and instant results, for example, it took us about 7 years to get one of my sons to eat pizza. That was a goal so that we could go out as a family, because he had a lot of food and sensory issues around food.
That makes sense.
And so a lot of people were like, oh, how can you wait 7 years? Because we did stories about pizza, we did pizza with nothing on it, we did pizza with just cheese, we added like a topping.
Introduced him to it slowly.
Yeah, but 7 years was worth it for us because we got to eat pizza, which is my favourite food.
Lovely.
So, and the third is with people with neurodiversity, we really struggle with that schedule, and I really feel for children at school, because one of the biggest issues I had for me was when the teacher goes, okay, that's it, fold up your books, ready, write when you've hit a groove. And it's like a neurological groove, and it's a bit like somebody grabbing a big stick and poking it in a whole lot of cogs and gears, bringing it to a grinding halt. It's very painful, very unpleasant, very stressful, so you need lots of warning for transition. And to this day at home, when I'm painting, my husband knows he has to give me at least an hour's warning, whether I'm writing or painting or whatever it is, that dinner will be in an hour's time. And if he forgets and says, oh, dinner's in 30 minutes, I'm like, well, dinner will be 30 minutes late. And that's not me being rude or difficult. It's I literally find
You're
it...
in what you're in.
Need more
I find
pre-warning.
it agonising to stop, and I need to actually tell myself, I actually have little post-it notes that I stick up going, okay, you've got 10 minutes. I set little alarms on my clock to sort of like warn me so that I can sort of like steer myself out of it.
Time's running out.
Yeah, because sometimes if I get into the groove, sometimes I don't move my legs. They lock into place like for 6 hours while I'm doing something. And then I try and walk and I'm like, I can hardly get out of the chair just because I haven't even moved. So I need reminders, because if I get into the groove of something, and you also have to be aware that there are certain pitfalls. So one thing I love doing, which was obvious to everyone as a child, was a way to calm me down was to just sort through buttons. And so my nan had this massive tin of buttons, and I'd like put all the red ones or the small ones, and then I'd do sub-clusters, so small red ones, big red ones, after I'd sorted all that. And so things like Pinterest for me are deadly. They are no-go zones. I actually, I have to say to myself, do not look at Pinterest. Because when I first found it, I just wanted to sort. So I was like, I had rabbits of all things on the first thing. And I couldn't bear the thought that there were more rabbits to be sorted. And in the end, I had to I couldn't even go to bed.
So you prefer order?
So I
structure.
Structure, that's one, yeah.
But sorting things, that's why I liked biology, because classifying things is so it's just so exciting for me. It's like a huge dopamine hit, sorting, and so
it's like a sense of accomplishment, isn't it?
It's more than that. It's
Right.
a huge reward for my brain, like sorting, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Because you've interlocked all the bits and pieces.
Yeah, and I'm
you've
making
worked it all
patterns.
out.
And so I want people to know that even when someone seems, particularly proficient, and I'm articulate, so I can explain how I'm feeling. For a child who may not have the vocabulary, when they're doing something, parents really need to understand that they need a system of warnings. And then as that child gets older, they need to learn to put, I guess, restraints on themselves to sort of, so I'll play this computer game for 2 hours and then I'll stop and do this. And then, in our home there's like little hourglasses, alarms, all sorts of things.
I don't have the egg timer. I haven't. I always used to get it. My mum used to put an egg timer. You've got 60 minutes on the phone. And that goes off.
That's a long time.
And I used to laugh and think, are you serious? I'm just going to turn that back around when you're not watching, and I'll give myself longer on the phone.
I've thought of another one.
Sneaky.
This is really important too. So people with neurodiversity can sort of become overwhelmed, and this often is reflect in what looks like really bad behaviour, and it can appear like a tantrum, and it isn't. It's absolute sensory overload, and you need that release. So I always say to people, if your house was on fire, you would not run for more fuel and start hurling, methylated spirits on it or more paper or
Keeping it burning.
and yet keeping it burning. And yet people, when their children with neurodiversity have this, they're on fire. They're like burning, like they've reached the tipping point.
Yep.
And they're overloaded. And then the parents start demanding certain behaviours, threatening with
I
punishments.
told you to do this right now.
This is like fuel. What I used to do for my child, and I totally appreciate that this might be hard for some parents to embrace, but it's worth thinking about. I used to actually take a little rug out with me, a little book, and I'd fold it out, and I'd put my child on it, and he would just completely lose the plot on the rug while I would just stand there very calmly, speaking calmly, maybe singing a few songs, and people would go, that kid needs a good slap, or you should be...
Good smacking around.
And I understood that this was not a tantrum. This was like, I need to be at home in a quiet environment. There are thousands of people. There's lots of lights. There's people talking. It's just too much. But as an adult, you can have similar feelings. Like I went to someone's birthday party and I was there for 3 hours. I needed to go, and I knew I needed to go. And they said, no, it's not finished yet. And I obviously wasn't going to be like a kid and lie down on the floor and lose the plot. I felt like it, but I was nearly about to cry. I just reached my limit and I needed to go. And so I think there is a need to be quite compassionate and understanding.
Understanding, that's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
People just
There's a lot of
need
judgment.
to understand
Yeah.
that not everyone is the same, and different things
Yeah.
can be that point that you go, hang on, no, I'm out. I've got to go.
And I was
This
telling
is too much.
Beck earlier that my brother needed 3 days warning for everything. Otherwise, he would go on the roof. No one could get him down. My parents would be in the car going, come down, we've got to be so-and-so, you know,
Yeah.
at this time. And there was no... Yeah, well, it wasn't even possible.
No.
So
And everyone.
you've got to work with what you've got. You can't... there's just no point having a chicken dinner and wishing it was tuna, or no point having a dog and going, you know what, I wish I had a chicken or a cat. You've got what you've got, and you've got to learn to love it.
Simply put,
And
it is
adapt.
what it is.
Adaptability and flexibility.
Yeah.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, of course, yes.
Sorry, start again.
Cassandra, yes.
Thank you so much, Cassandra,
My
for
pleasure.
coming on. We really do appreciate having a bit of a chat with you, and we'll catch up with you again in the future. I hope you
Thank
would
you
like
so
to
much.
do that.
I would love to do that. Thank you.
Can't wait to have you back.
Have a good
That was a good
afternoon,
talk.
everyone out there listening.